Imagine this. You're alone, completely alone, in a room without windows, without clocks, no way out. You don't know if it's day or night. You don't know how long you've been there. You only know that something is wrong, deeply wrong, as if a part of you had been ripped away years ago, and you're just now noticing it. Suddenly, a door opens. Someone in a suit enters, doesn't say their name, just looks at you, smiles, hands you a sheet of paper. You sign it without knowing why, what it is, or what for. And when you ask what all this means, that figure answers with brutal calm. Welcome to the real world. You've been trapped since the day you were born. And that's when you understand. The prison didn't start today. It started the first day you breathed. Does it sound exaggerated? It's not. Everything you consider normal, the school you hated, the job you didn't choose, the debts you carried, Sundays full of anxiety and Mondays with a funeral face, were part of the design. You don't live your life. You survive inside a carefully constructed labyrinth, so you never find the exit. And do you know the most terrifying part? You call it freedom. You celebrate when they give you a credit card. You thank them when they mortgage your soul. You smile when you sign a contract that chains you for 40 years, as if you had been saved. But no one saved you. They only gave you a more comfortable cell. They disguised poverty as stability, dependency as responsibility, slavery as success. Do you really think this is a coincidence? Do you really think millions of people live on the edge every month because of a lack of effort? Number. It's programming. A script written by others, with characters like you who don't know they're acting. They taught you to obey before teaching you to think, to consume before questioning, to fear before deciding. And the most sinister part is they convinced you that if you don't succeed, it's because something is wrong with you. They brainwashed you so deeply that now you self-punish when you can't handle everything. But it's not your fault. It's a system designed for that, for you to blame yourself while they reap the rewards. And if you're waiting for someone to come rescue you, here's some news. No one is coming, because this system doesn't fall, it's abandoned. Not with force, but with awareness. Not with rage, but with truth. And that truth is what you're about to face, even if it hurts, even if your legs shake, even if you want to close this video. Because what you're going to hear wasn't made to entertain you, it was made to wake you up. And once you wake up, there's no turning back. Because once you start seeing the pattern, you see it everywhere. In rising prices while your salary stagnates. In ads bombarding you with things you don't need but somehow desire. In the way every conversation revolves around money without really talking about it. Have you noticed? No one teaches you how money is created. No one explains who prints it, who controls it, or why you can buy less and less with the same amount. They just say, work hard, save, invest in a pension plan, as if that were enough. But it's not. It never was. Because the game isn't about producing, it's about owning. And you produce. They own. They own your time, your attention, your energy. And that's the part that hurts most, not knowing how much you've given away without realizing it. But here's an even more uncomfortable truth. They don't control you only with money. They control you with emotions. They trained you to fear scarcity, to not make ends meet, to lose your job, to be nobody. And that fear is pure gold for them. Because a mind in fear becomes obedient. It silences itself. It accepts. It settles. And when it can't take it anymore, it goes into debt. Because the system knows this. Fear pushes you to accept conditions you would never accept calmly. And that's where they make sure you never leave. Because debt is paid not only with money, it's paid with health, with time, with relationships, with years that won't come back. It's paid with a life that wasn't yours, but that you ended up living because it seemed like the only option. And while you sacrifice your existence to pay for a house, a car, a degree you never wanted, there's someone on the other side of the system accumulating power with every step you take. But now let's talk about something deeper, quieter, even more invisible. Language, because even the words you use aren't yours. Have you noticed how people talk about money? Money is dirty. Money changes people. It's not spiritual to talk about wealth. They told you that from a young age, with stories, movies, cliches. They told you wanting money was greed, but working like a slave was virtue. They taught you to feel guilt when you earn, and shame when you ask. And that guilt is a prison stronger than any debt. Because a mind that feels guilty for prospering will never prosper. Do you get it now? They didn't just build a system that traps you externally. They also built a language so you never try to get out from within. And now listen to this. The system doesn't protect itself with weapons. It protects itself with ideas. And those ideas live inside you. You don't need police on every corner if you have citizens who self-censor, self-regulate, self-sabotage. Do you know why there are so many intelligent people trapped in lives they hate? Because they still think leaving the system is dangerous. Because they believe if they break the rules, everything falls apart. But what no one told them is that the rules were made so you never win. That there are people who don't follow those rules, and they do better. That there are paths outside the labyrinth, but they're not lit. There are no signs, no guarantees. There's only one decision: start thinking differently. And here is where the real revolution begins. It's not with signs, it's not with protests, it's with awareness. When you decide your mind will not be a place of manipulation, when you question what you always took for granted, when you start rewriting your relationship with money, with work, with fear. Because the system can't control you if you no longer accept its logic. If you stop seeing poverty as a destiny and start seeing it as a failed experiment implanted in you. Because that's what it is, an experiment. A mental programming repeated so much that you ended up believing it. And then comes a brutal question. Who would you be if no one ever told you what you could or couldn't have? Who would you be if you weren't afraid to fail, to stray from the path, to lose the supposed success? You probably can't even imagine it clearly because you've been playing a role for so long that you no longer know who you were before the script. But that original you is still there, waiting, watching, silent. And it's tired of pretending. It's fed up with smiling in gray offices, filling out forms, accepting salaries that insult its value, that you wants out, wants to scream, wants to break the cage, even if it hurts, even if it burns, even if the world calls you crazy. And here comes the hardest part of all this. When you try to get out, the system will fight back. It will send you its heaviest artillery, your own loved ones. They'll tell you not to be stupid, to be grateful for what you have. That life is like this. That work is sacrifice. That stability is everything. They'll say it kindly, but also with fear. Because if you free yourself, they're left without excuses, and that hurts more than any loss. So get ready, because leaving the system is not just an economic act, it's an emotional act. You will lose people. You will break beliefs. You will be alone at times, but you will also breathe like never before. You will think for yourself. You will look around, and for the first time, you will see the chains, and also the key. And when that happens, there's no turning back, because knowledge can't be unlearned, awareness can't be erased. And when you see the system face to face without its disguise, you'll notice something chilling. that everything that seemed stable was artificial, that everything that seemed secure was an illusion, that those who seem free only have a bigger cage. And then you'll choose? Not because someone tells you how, but because finally you'll be able to. And that, precisely, is true wealth. The freedom to choose how you live, what you build, who you walk with, what you leave behind. Because money without freedom is just another form of slavery. And poverty, when accepted without struggle, is simply obedience disguised as humility. So the next time you feel you can't go on, remember this. You're not broken, you're waking up. You're not lost, you're coming out of the dream. The system didn't fail you, it was designed to fail you. But you can break it, not with rage, with clarity, not with force, with awareness. Because the only thing this system needs to keep existing is for you to stay asleep. And now that you know, will you close your eyes again? Because here is where it gets truly disturbing. When you open your eyes, you don't just see the system. You also start seeing how you yourself sustained it. Yes, you, unintentionally, unknowingly, unquestioningly, every time you accepted a miserable salary, because at least you had a job, every time you said money isn't the most important thing, every time you went into debt to appear as something you weren't, every time you compared yourself, envied, stayed silent, they trained you so well that it wasn't even necessary for someone to watch you. You did it yourself. You became your own jailer. And here comes another uncomfortable truth. This system doesn't care what you think. It cares about what you do automatically. Because what you do reflexively, that's programming. And the most powerful programming that exists isn't poverty, it's normality. They made you see living stressed as normal, making ends meet just barely as normal, hating Mondays and living for Fridays as normal, Sunday night anxiety as normal, asking permission to get sick as normal, mortgaging yourself for 30 years for a roof as normal, aging in a chair in front of a screen that has nothing to do with your dreams as normal. Do you see it now? They sold you a lifestyle packaged as security, but it's built on one principle: fear of change. And change, that's the real enemy of the system. Because someone who changes, someone who dares to think differently, can't be predictable, can't be contained. And here comes a deeper layer almost no one wants to touch: identity. Who are you without everything the system gave you? Who are you without your job, your salary, your degree, your debts? What's left when you remove all the logos, all the accounts, all the shoulds? And if you don't know how to answer, it's because you were never allowed. Because you were never taught to build yourself, only to adapt. And this will shake you. People who don't know who they are the easiest to control because they need to belong. They need someone to tell them, "You're doing fine, you're doing the right thing, this is what's expected." And that's exactly what the system offers you: a fabricated identity. Being responsible, hardworking, productive, respectable. But don't be mistaken, being respectable to the system isn't the same as being free. In fact, it's almost the opposite, because the more you fit into its mold, the farther you are from yourself. And that's no coincidence. They want you confused. They want you tired. They want you too busy to think about all this. Because if one day, even by accident, you stop and calmly observe, you'll notice something brutal. Most of your most important decisions weren't made by you. They were made by your parents, your teachers, your environment, your fears, your lacks. Did you really choose what you studied? Did you choose where you live? Did you choose that job, or was it the only one that showed up? Did you choose to go into debt, or were you just trying to survive? And that's where it hurts, because it's not that you didn't make decisions, It's that you never had the full map. You only saw the path they showed you, and that path was full of false signs, broken promises, foreign goals. And that's how you got here. Living a life that doesn't feel like yours, but you don't know how to let go of either. And here is where many get stuck, between frustration and fear. They know they don't want to continue like this, but don't know where to start. And the answer isn't magic, quick, or comfortable, but it exists. It starts when you accept that you don't need to know everything to take the first step, that you don't need to have the perfect plan to start moving. That action, even if small, is the beginning of all transformation. And above all, that you're not alone. There are thousands, millions of people who are also waking up, who also see the crack in the wall, who also feel something doesn't fit. And when you connect with that truth, everything changes. Because it's no longer just about you. It's about an entire generation starting to say, no more. No more living to pay bills. No more mortgaging health for a salary. No more normalizing exhaustion. No more bowing your head. No more accepting poverty as a personal fault. Because it isn't. Poverty, in this system, is a tool of control. It's the leash that keeps the majority tied while a minority plays by the rules they wrote themselves. And no, it's not about hate. It's not about revenge. It's about awareness. Understanding how the board works. To stop playing their game. And here comes another powerful concept, which almost no one talks about. Mental autonomy. Because the real revolution isn't economic, it's psychological. It's when you stop waiting for permission. It's when you decide to learn on your own what they never taught you. It's when you understand that financial education isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. That controlling your time isn't a whim, it's survival. That the income you generate outside the system is your only real guarantee of freedom. And there, right there, another life begins. One that's not written in manuals or shown in movies. One that scares because it has no marked paths, but liberates. One that demands everything from you, but that, for the first time, gives you something in return. Peace. Peace not as absence of problems, but as presence of direction. That feeling that even if you don't have everything figured out, at least now you're heading in the right direction. Because it finally belongs to you. And that direction, that route, that inner compass, no one can give it to you. It only appears when you let go of the idea that the system will save you. Because it won't. It never did. It was never designed to. And now that you know, tell me, are you going to keep calling life what you were taught to accept? Or are you going to start building something that, even if it hurts at first, is truly yours? The door is there. Open. Not everyone sees it. Many, even if they see it, don't dare. You decide. You decide. But if you've come this far, if you're still listening to these words, it's because something inside you already decided before you. Something woke up. Something got tired of silence. Something inside you started to whisper, enough. And that, my friend, has no turning back, because once you see it, you can't stop seeing it. You start noticing the strings, the puppets, the whole theater, the boss's fake smile, the hypocritical pat on the back, the endless meetings that serve no purpose, the salary that barely covers, the chronic tiredness, the false promises, the someday, that day that never comes. You see it all, and it hurts. But it also frees, because now you know there is something beyond. You can no longer keep pretending everything is fine. You can no longer live a routine that only leads you to the grave faster. The autopilot is off, and the control is in your hands. But before you close this video, I want you to look around. Look at your surroundings, your desk, your house, your phone, and then look inside. Ask yourself quietly, without filters, without lies, am I living my life or a cheap copy of what others decided for me? If you don't like the answer, then this moment is your breaking point. Here, now, as you watch this screen, you can decide to keep justifying the unjustifiable or start moving. One step, one idea, one new belief, one conscious action. Because real change doesn't start with big speeches or miracles. It starts with tiny, private, almost invisible, but constant decisions. And those decisions, accumulated, change destinies. Not everyone's, yours. And yes, of course it's scary. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of losing what little you have. Fear of not knowing what to do next. But I'll tell you something brutal. Fear is not a sign you're on the wrong path. Fear is evidence that you're leaving the old behind. If you don't feel fear, you're probably still asleep. So embrace it. Walk with it. Use fear as a compass. Because when the system shakes, it's because you're moving. And that is the beginning of something unstoppable. Now listen to this with your heart wide open. You're not broken. You're reprogramming. You're not failing. You're being reborn. You're not lost. You're leaving a path that was never yours. And that, even if it hurts. And now that we've made it this far, before we continue, I want to present the following to you. Our book, The Formula of Awakening, is now available. Do you feel like there's something inside you that wants to awaken, but you don't know where to start? Then I invite you to transform your way of thinking, and with it, your way of living. Discover who you can become. Start today. The link to get the ebook is in the first pinned comment of this video. Grab your copy now at a great price. With that said, let's continue with the video. Is beautiful, because every time you dare to leave a mental cage, you inspire another to do the same. And that's how the real revolution begins. Not with violence, but with awareness. One, then another, then thousands. An invisible wave that doesn't shout, but overwhelms. That doesn't ask for permission, because it no longer needs it. And if this video has resonated with you, if it has touched something you didn't even know was there, then don't keep it just for yourself. Share this seed. Let it fall into another mind. Let it multiply. Let it disturb. Let it awaken and subscribe. Not out of obligation, but because here, every word you hear will be to open cracks in that false reality imposed on you. And if you want to go one step further, leave in the comments this phrase, "I already saw the wall." No need to explain anything else. Whoever reads it will understand. And if they don't, they're not ready yet. Now then, this is not a goodbye. It's a reboot, a crack in the matrix, a breach in the code, the beginning of a new narrative written by you, with your ink, with your rules, with your mistakes, and with your freedom. And remember, while most keep playing chess with pieces they didn't choose, you can throw the board away, redefine the game, change the pieces. Or better yet, invent a game where there are no kings or pawns. See you soon. Or not. Maybe now, you start writing your own story, and then you won't need anyone else to tell it to you.